So welcome everyone. So happy to see you this afternoon. And my name is Mira. If you don't know me already, I'm in Baltimore with IMCW. And today the lay of the land is such in this 1 hour practice that we will have some guidance and then we will have some relative stillness and quiet with ourselves. And then I would like to just speak a little bit about peace, peace within, how we can cultivate peace in a world where there's just so much chaos and disturbing news and unpredictability. So peace of mind is our theme for today. So let's go ahead and just draw the shoulders up to the ears. And as you exhale, just feel them fall away. Feel the release of the breath. 2 more times. Inhale, maybe drawing the shoulders forward and up. And as you exhale, releasing any stress or tension you might be carrying in this part of the body, very common for many of us. 1 more time. And any other movement that your body's needing before we settle into our seat, go ahead and give yourself that. Or find your seat, settling the body in the present moment, right here, right now, and bringing some awareness to the feet, noticing the contact that the feet are making with the floor, with the earth. As we arrive into our bodies, into the feet, the grounding presence of the legs, lower legs and knees and upper legs, sensing the weight of the legs and their volume, feeling the shape, the bend at the knee and the ankle and the hip. Arriving into the pelvis, sensing the weight, the contact we are making with the support beneath, the center of gravity, weighted into the earth. Bringing awareness up into the torso, sensing the front of the torso and the back of the torso, belly and low back. We have the opportunity to assess, is there excess tension in any part of the body that we might let go of on the exhalation? Sometimes awareness of the abdomen, we notice that there's a clenching or a tightening that we were unaware of before. And so inviting the stomach, the belly, to soften like a Buddha belly, to let go. Awareness of the middle part of the torso, sensing the rib cage expand and contract. Not just on the front side of the torso, but the sides, left and right. And the back on each side of the spine, expanding and contracting. Bringing awareness to the upper part of the torso, Sensing the chest lifting, rising with each inhalation and falling with each exhalation. Sensing the heart center, the heart of love and compassion and connection. And as we land in this part of the body, we might assess what that connection is showing up for or showing up like in this moment. Connection with ourselves, connection with those that are closest to us, closer, and connection with our wider circles. Bringing awareness to the strength or the lack thereof of connection, knowing that it always changes. Awareness of the upper back. And using the powers of imagination, we might invite a sense of support right behind the back. You might imagine what you could lean into if you could. What would that be that feels very supportive? Whether it's a tree or one of the four-leggeds you live with, or a two-legged, or a comfy chair. Bringing awareness now to the shoulders. And through this body scan, we are not only touching each part of the body, but we're stabilizing the mind. We're inviting ourselves to land in each body part with presence and awareness, noticing sensations. And with the shoulders, noticing the weight that we might be carrying, the weight of responsibilities, the weight of worries, concerns, or the burden of regrets. Being human, we know the territory of all of this weight that rises and falls at different times of our lives. Sensing the arms, the weight of the arms alongside of the body, the volume, the shape, the bend at the elbow and the wrist, the shoulder joint. And the hands and the fingers, a part of the body that we may sense even more than other parts of the body, just because there's a myriad of nerve endings here, perceiving temperature, pulsing, radiating, tingling, vibrating. Feeling the aliveness of the body in the hands. And shifting awareness up into the neck and the throat. Noticing sensations. The weight of the head. Any stuckness in the throat, words or sounds that have not been expressed. An awareness of the head, the scalp, skull, the brain, and inviting any tension or tightness, allowing it to unravel. Noticing the expression on the face. And perhaps softening so that expression becomes expressionless. Soft eyes, relaxed jaw. Smoothed, worried lines. Even relaxing the tongue and the lips. And in this body scan, awareness of the entire body, all these parts woven together to create this home, this residence, this temple that each of us lives within. And so let us sit in the next several breath cycles in our practice, choosing an anchor that continues to stabilize the mind in the present moment. For some of us, sound is a preferable anchor. The tweeting of the bird, the passing car, the flow of air from the HVAC system. Just allowing sounds to come and go. They arrive and they fall away and make space for new sounds. And the same is true as we just practiced in our body scan, the sensations in the body constantly changing, rising in our awareness, a sharp pain, an ache, and a letting go, falling away, a dissipating. And then perhaps the anchor of the breath. Mirroring awareness to each and every inhalation, sensing the breath in the body, being expressed through the body as it nourishes. And each exhalation, a surrendering of the breath and a softening of the body, a letting go. Finding relative stillness, relative quiet. And by now, it's very likely that the mind has wandered away from your chosen anchor. As the mind is a time traveler, we can just acknowledge when that happens and where does the mind go? Does it travel into the future with planning, anticipating? Does it travel in the past, remembering, reminiscing, reflecting? And when we notice, we have a choice to stay with the thoughts that are arising, or we can choose to practice mindful meditation, stabilizing the mind, steadying the mind in this present moment, noticing where we go, and then calling ourselves back home to this very breath or sound or sensation within the body. And this is the practice that gets strengthened each and every time the mind wanders, and each and every time we bring ourselves back, right here, right now. We can set an intention for our practice. Intentions can serve us to encourage us to stay on the path. And like the North Star, our intention keeps us oriented on the path. And once again, we may notice that the mind has wandered, has gotten lost. Remembering our intention, whether it's to stay present with our anchor or to touch into our hearts, to bring compassion to some challenging emotions, to touch into peace. Whatever the intention is, it can serve to remind us to come right back, to orient ourselves back on the path of sitting and breathing and practicing the art and the skill of mindfulness meditation, of living in this very moment with all that is arising. And sometimes what we notice is arising are emotions that are evoked from our thoughts. And we can check in with these emotions and see if there's any tender ones that need a little bit of compassion, vulnerable emotions that may want to be recognized and acknowledged. As we know that suppressing emotions, avoiding them, denying them, only makes them stronger. It works temporarily, but then they come back with more strength. And it's the body mind's way of saying, hey, pay attention to me. There's something happening now. There may be a need. We can bring a sense of holding ourselves, the part of ourselves that feels the emotion, and often many emotions, perhaps two parts that feel opposing emotions. Sometimes we feel excited about something, and then another part of us feels really scared. Our practice today, I'd like to offer a focus on cultivating inner peace. And as we all know, in this crazy world where there's wars happening and people dying of starvation and poor water conditions, and there are unpredictable climate events that cause harm and great loss. Just like to read a poem called Light and Dark by the author Nikki Bonas. There will always be light and dark, yin and yang, push and pull, ebb and flow, days of questions and days of answers, seasons of winter and seasons of summer. There will always be times of growth and times of rest, moments of joy and moments of sadness. Peace is knowing that all of these things coexist together, and that it is in the nature of life. And peace is knowing that nothing is permanent, that a season of blooming cannot last forever, but neither will the season of darkness. Peace is found not in trying to hold on to only the good times, but embracing all times. Peace is found in accepting and embracing the nature of life. There is the recent Tricycle magazine came out with the summer issue, and there's an article called Peace of Mind that I was inspired by. And while there's a lot in the article, I wanted to highlight 4 steps that were named for cultivating greater peace of mind. And so these 4 steps are recognition that while we have little to no control over so many things that are happening that disturb our peace of mind, that scare us and activate our nervous system, that if we are waiting for the world's events, the circumstances in our own lives to settle down and find equilibrium, we will be waiting forever, our whole lives, because there will never come a time when there is not darkness. Right now, if you're on the East Coast, it is the afternoon, it is the spring season, the end of May. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it is the fall season. Things are darkening and getting colder. And so these dualities exist, they coexist. So the first reflection is seeing things as they are, seeing as is. And I know for myself, I catch myself often when I read the news or I hear something that's heartbreaking for me, I say to myself, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And in a way, it's sort of like holding on to the illusion that this cannot possibly exist, this horrendous news or this, whether it be personal or whether it be worldly. There's a denial of the reality that's unfolding when we say, I can't believe this. I don't want to believe this. And it brings us a sense of comfort, comfort to the ego, to the part of us that wants stability, that wants security, that wants to be able to predict. And until we're able to accept, allow, and accept things as they are, and recognize what's happening in our own bodies, our own nervous systems, how deactivated we become, how dysregulated our nervous systems might become, how reactive we might become. Until we see that happening, it's really hard to change it, to shift it. And so once we're able to recognize, then we can use our skills, our practices to, such as RAIN, using the acronym, the tool of RAIN, to recognize, to acknowledge and accept, to investigate, to nurture, to recognize that we're not identified with whatever it is that's happening. The second suggestion for cultivating peace of mind is grounding in non-dual wisdom. And so we so often go to those polarities and we take sides. You know, I want the light, but I don't want the dark. I want the summer, but I don't want the winter, or vice versa. And so being able to recognize that dualities, that polar opposites coexist. And so one of the things that I'm aware of is sometimes when I meet someone for the first time, or even not, I've known them for a while, there will be a judgment that bubbles up. I see one aspect of this individual, and yet this individual is a whole, complex, composite, multifaceted, but I'm just lasering in on one element with perhaps positive judgment. Oh, this person is inspiring or powerful, or I feel calm around them, or negative. This person is having trouble managing their anger, or whatever it may be. So it negates the whole person, that there's a whole composite of history and traumas and dramas and celebrations and triumphs and experiences of life. And so non-dual wisdom helps us see that there's always more than what meets the eye, to see more deeply. The third is, in cultivating a peaceful mind, is avoiding fundamentalist thinking. And so this really is pointing in the direction of going to extremes. We might have beliefs about how things should be that can easily take us into a more extreme view that completely negates that there are other points of view, that there are other ways of seeing the world, that there are people who live in different bodies with different histories and cultures and skin colors and ages that have a very different perspective, and that what is taught most in their values is very different than my own. And so when we're able to recognize that we are leaning into fundamentalist extreme thinking, then we know that's going to take us into a place where there's no possible way to have peace of mind. And the last step, the fourth, is embracing the boundless nature of the Bodhisattva vow. And for those of you who are familiar with the Bodhisattva and the vows, know that this is the the boundless compassion and recognition for suffering in the world, that there is suffering and that to be human is to suffer. And it's a thread that runs throughout all of humanity. And to be able to bring this limitless compassion and holding for our own suffering and for that of others, to radiate a sense of kindness in our world with others, and starting with ourselves. So this boundless love, compassion, and acceptance, holding. And so in the last bit of time here, to be able to, and I'm just going to quote, seeing as is, being able to see the destructive forces that are inherent aspect of life, that the basic elements of life, earth, wind, water, fire, are recreated in our storms, our hurricanes, our earthquakes, our melting ice, volcanoes, wildfires, avalanches. And that we also get sick from animals and insects. And we also contribute perhaps to their lack of well-being through mistreatment and poisons in the soil and so forth. And so being able to recognize and meet with awareness that we have these capacities, these growing capacities to hold the suffering in the world and to bring a sense of deeper connection that we are not alone. So I'd like to just end with a prayer for our troubled times that is at the end of this tricycle piece on cultivating a peaceful mind. The first is bow to the sacred in all of creation. And we might even bring a hand to the heart and take this in like a metta, a loving kindness, to take it in for ourselves, to breathe it in with the breath, and then to send it out through the breath and offer it to all beings everywhere. I bow to the sacred in all of creation. May my spirit fill the world with beauty and wonder. May my mind seek truth with humility and openness. May my heart forgive without limit. May my love for friend and enemy and outcast be without measure. May my needs be few and my living simple. May my actions bear witness to the suffering of others. May my hands never cause harm to a living being. May my steps stay on the journey of justice. May my tongue speak for those who are poor without fear of the powerful. May my prayers rise with patient discontent until no child is left hungry. May my life's work be a passion for peace and nonviolence. May my soul rejoice in the present moment. May my imagination overcome death and despair with new possibility. And may I risk reputation, comfort, and security to bring this hope to the children all around our world. And so breathing in the prayers, the blessings, the vows of the Bodhisattva, that we can all aspire to this calling to give of ourselves, to give of our gifts and our strength, our talents and our skills, our knowledge and our wisdom, and our love. So that as we give all of these qualities to ourselves first, and we cultivate peace of mind, we then have what it takes to bring that peace out into the world, into action. Let us bow with gratitude to our practice for cultivating this time, carving it out to give ourselves this space, and bowing to each other in this Sangha. Namaste.